Hi, I'm Chris from Heartwood Woodworks, and I'm here to talk to you today about the OnePlate router base.
Let's go.
The idea behind this router base was to make common woodworking tasks a lot easier and much more precise without the use of complicated jigs. I drew inspiration from the Samurai Carpenter and Johnathan Katz-Moses, both excellent woodworkers on YouTube, and I recommend you check them out. This router base can cut mortises, it can cut tenons, it can cut circles from 8 inches to up to over 8 feet if you'd like. You can use it as a center finding jig. You can flip it over and use it as a router table with a guide pin and integral fence. It's got an offset base so you can cut multiple width dados with one bit. And it's made out of 10mm cast acrylic so it doesn't bend. Every nut and bolt on this jig uses 1/4-20 threads, which allows you to customize the jig or replace parts very easily. When unpacking the router plate, you should have the router plate, 2 fences, 6 knobs, the circle cutting attachment, 2 stainless steel pins, 4 bolts, 4 nuts, 2 Allen bolts, and 6 washers. The tools you'll need are a drill, drill bits, multi-bit screwdriver, utility knife, awl or Sharpie, 1/8 inch Allen key, and painter's tape. The first thing you're going to need to do to install this router base is take off the old router plate. Save the screws. And this thing's fucking garbage. The next thing you're going to want to do is take one of these stainless steel threaded pins and put it into the router. After you've done that, take this round piece of acrylic and wrap it with 2 layers of painter's tape. Once you've got the piece covered with tape, screw it onto the threaded pin. Don't put it on too deep because it needs to reference the router plate. Once you've done this, you should be able to pop the router plate on and it should be exactly center. You can position it any way that you want, but I'm going to put it this way. Once you have the router in position, take a couple pieces of tape and just pop it on.
You don't want that thing moving on you.
Once you've got your router plate in position, you can use an awl or a Sharpie to mark the hole locations of your router base. Now take the plate off the base. Now my router base uses a 7/32 through hole and a 3/8 countersink. So I'll start by drilling the through hole and then we'll countersink it with the 3/8 drill bit. I'm going to put a piece of wood under here so I don't blow out the acrylic.
So we got 3 nice through holes.
The depth that you need to drill may vary depending on how long your screws are, but I'm just going to keep going until they fit through. I'd like to note that it's very important to be careful of the depth that you're drilling. You don't want to drill through the plate, because then you got to buy a new plate. And there you have it. Holes are drilled to depth, so now let's put it on the router. So this should just fit on perfectly now. Do some final adjustments. And tighten it up. Now you're ready to assemble it. The method I've showed you to attach it works pretty well and will get you in the ballpark, but if you want a perfect center, which is pretty important for this jig, then I'd recommend getting a centering cone for your router. To assemble the router plate, start by taking 2 Allen bolts, put them in the countersunk holes, and put 2
nuts
on them. Then take these 4 bolts. Put washers on them. Put the knobs on. They'll slot right through here. You can tighten them up. And for the centering pins, put a nut on them, put a washer on, and the knob. These install the same way and tighten up to this position, but for now we don't need them, so we'll take them off. To put on the fences, you just loosen this up, push it up, slot the fence through, same with the next one, tighten it back up. Same for the other side. And if you need to set the fence, you can just line it up to one of these precision measurements. And just tighten it up. These fences can either be used upright, where they're 1.5 inches, or you can lay them flat and they're just under 3/4 of an inch. They also have tracks on all four sides, so if you want to add an auxiliary stop or an auxiliary fence, that's also possible. To set up the circle cutting jig for small circles, you need to use this
slot.
So you take your centering pin, pop it in here, and this will cut roughly a 4-inch circle, and when you move it along here, you can adjust the width of the circle as needed, and that will get up to 14 inches. For larger circles, you'll need this piece of track, this center cutting attachment, and your threaded pin and the nut. So you need to remove the nut from the pin, thread it onto the circle cutting attachment, and put the nut back on. So that goes into here, and you just tighten the circle cutting attachment to the track. So that can slide along here and lock at any position. And the way that you attach this is by attaching these pins. And slotting that on. Then you tighten that back up. Once this is set up like this, you can cut a circle roughly 30 inches wide. Thank you for watching. I hope you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one.